Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And this is a conversation I have been looking forward to have for many, many weeks. We have Carlos and Martha from Fresno, California. They are awesome individuals, awesome people, great investors, run a business that you need to work with out there. Let's welcome Martha and Carlos. How are you guys doing?
Great. Hi, everybody.
Hello, we're doing good. Thank you.
Why don't you guys introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, how long you've been doing this, and then we'll just start telling everybody your story. Martha, why don't you go first?
Awesome. I'm Martha, Carlos, my husband. We own CMG Services in Fresno, and we've been doing handyman work for a couple of years now. We started in the management side of business when we got married about 19 years ago. So we've been in real estate on the management side for a couple of years, and recently started doing our own flips.
That's awesome. And Carlos, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Carlos, and best decision I ever made in my life was to marry Martha.
Smart man.
Man. One of the things that I could say is that a few years back, I decided to go on my own after doing property management maintenance, and decided to be a handyman, and then it kind of continued going there. And there were some times where I think we could talk about, there were real rough times about being a handyman. It's not an easy gig.
Yeah.
And so we had to pivot. We had to kind of take a step back and kind of review where we're at. And about maybe in 2018, we started seeing some things that we needed to change. 2019 was like the beginning of everything. And then 2020 hit. You're like, whoa.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
We're like, we're barely trying to figure this out, and this happens.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that I love about your two stories.
Oh.
First and foremost, the thing that I've always felt, and it'd be interesting to see what you guys think of this, but to me, it's always felt like you two have always been on the same page, right? It may not have always been easy. I'm sure it wasn't. But I always could count that Carlos and Martha were rowing the boat together. Do I feel that correctly? Well, let's start there. Do I feel that correctly?
I think, we definitely have our friction. So there's times where he's tugging one way and I'm tugging the other way. Or we're rowing together, but we're rowing on the different directions. We're going in circles.
Yeah. We both have the same thing in mind, but I think we're rowing differently in times in our lives. And I think this is where that was pivot for us in 2019. Martha saw something that I wasn't seeing, because I think sometimes when you're really close to the project, you don't see the changes happening. Right. And she stepped back as a wife and as a mother, and she saw, hey, Carlos, you're going the wrong way. You need to ask for directions. But yeah.
That's awesome.
I think one of the things that we decided a long time ago is to work together. We met each other at a job. We both worked.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. Well, I guess you could say it was a job. We were both working at our church, and our had a business that we both were working for, and that's how we started working together. And then we met. And I should have figured then that he was going to try to tell me what to do all the time. It's like, I'm going to marry her because she's a good secretary. I should have known. But we kind of, we've always worked together. And I don't think we knew what we were doing. I think when we got married, our first decision and probably our only goal was to stay married to be together. And that going to have a mother and father.
Same
parents. Parents. Their same parents. Because that was our thing,
background,
you know?
Yeah. And so, Mike, if you see that, it's the answer is yes, but it has not been easy. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to be easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Relationships are hard. Businesses are hard. Investing is hard. But again, at least from the outside, Carlos and Martha, one team, no questions asked.
I appreciate that.
To me, it just appears like always going together. So why don't we talk about your first transition, really from being kind of property management to really launching your handyman business? What year was that? Was that 2018 or when was that?
No, that was, so see, the baby's gonna be 6. He was born 2016, so 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you make the entrepreneurial leap in 2016, right? You go from a paycheck to being your own boss. You know, sometimes when that happens, you're like, I never appreciated how you find leads, how you find work, right? You were doing the work, and I'm sure you were always busy. But talk about that first year being entrepreneur, because it's sometimes it looks really easy from the beach, and then you go try to surf and you fall on your face. How was that first year going out on your own? Because I'm sure there were some surprises.
Oh yeah.
You know, I wanted to tell you, I heard your episode with Dion on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. And you guys talk about ground zero. I think when I started, I was a negative, like 5 or 10. Yeah. I really bad. And I started, but my first year was the best year, I think, when I first started as a handyman, because I had some friction with my regional manager at the time, and he let go of me.
Okay.
But he rehired me as his handyman. Yeah. So I continue working with it, but not as an employee, but as a yeah. So we then started doing the handyman work. The first year was a bliss. It was beautiful because they had multiple properties and we were just doing all of the work.
Right.
The second year is when reality came in. When that went away, and now I had to be searching and getting leads and stuff. And that was a journey itself. And I think that's where I think Martha and I, speeding up forward to 2018, we started seeing struggling really bad. You know, there's a thing that Martha and I are working on where we want to show people how it really been. There was a moment where I was driving a green Buick with an extension ladder on top of the car, or some facial boards trying to do work orders. And it was bad. It was really bad. And so, but I kept going because something I've learned is being persistent, being consistent, and just pushing forward. You know, one of the things that I feel like I have to work on now, even as we speak, is my discipline. Because I realize as a business owner, and as I shift from a handyman to being an investor, discipline really plays a role on all the decision making and all the things that you do, that we do. And so as a handyman, first year was a bliss. Second year, third year, fourth year, we took a beating. We took it because so jobs were one job, you know, it was like living paycheck by paycheck is pretty much living job to job. Same. And so I think we had to move from transition from self-employed to a business. And it took some hard work. And honestly,
we're still learning.
And I think that really plays a huge role because as a stay-at-home, she got the opportunity to do YouTube University. And she kind of helped me, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so in 2019, we started doing meetups. We narrowed down our market. We started focusing on realtors. We started focusing, and one of the things that Martha told me, guess who has all the keys? I don't know who. Realtors. You want more work, then we can get more work than we want if we market directly to them.
Look at that.
Narrowed down our market because we were just shooting everywhere. Whatever we can get, like we'll take anything. You know, going from having a secure check, you know for sure when your check is going to come, but then when you're self-employed, it just depends when you finish a job and if you get that job, and if you bid it right, or did you make any mistakes on the bids, and you know.
It's amazing how often these ORAT rules come into play. Rule number 1, focus. Right. Focus. Even if you're starting a bit here, it says focus, establish your buy box, because I'm talking to investors, but same thing for entrepreneurs. And then daily discipline, right? It's one thing to be focused, and then you've just got to be consistent in growing your network. The other thing that I've seen with both of you is really twofold. One is really following on the back of Jason Pritchard, who I think is the best investor in Fresno. And he really leads by example, networking and giving. And I've seen both of you kind of follow that, and it's been fun to watch. Is that on purpose, or is that just, am I just reading it wrong?
No,
No,
we want to be Jason Pritchard.
I want to be Jason Pritchard. Yeah, he and his wife.
Yes. They're
Amazing.
Absolutely
Martha told me,
amazing
yeah. I think I think he should be flattered, because imitating him is just, because
It's the highest form of flattery.
Absolutely.
and one of the things is, it's not just him, but you as well, Mike. I do your daily finances every day as much as I can.
That's awesome.
It helps me be aware of things that in the past I wasn't aware of, like the economy is doing, what the consumer is doing, because that reflects on me. I provide a service.
Right.
And even now, I mean, I heard your daily news today. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be, I think 2022 could be like no other year. And I've been studying the consumer for 30 years, 32 years, something like that. It's going to be an interesting year that I think we all have to pay attention to. The thing that I think I've seen you two make the transition to now is you're really investors, right? You've got projects, you're doing deals. You want to talk about your first flip, maybe talk about how you found it, and talk about that process, because it's fun to watch people grow and expand their wings like you two have.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I feel like we're like babies, like trying to walk and we're falling on our face. But honestly,
so I think so when you look back and you start seeing like all the stuff you don't want to go through, right? The hard stuff, all of the struggles we had with the business, even not being able to pay, all of our angry landlords, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Led us to being able to make it to narrowing our market to realtors, realize that there was another side of real estate, which is the investment side, that sometimes you don't really see. And then actually making it to our very first meetup. Our very first meetup was one of Richard Pritchard's meetup at the old Iron Key Real Estate across the street from our church. So we go to People's Church here in Fresno, and they were across the street having a meetup. And I told Carlos, Debbie, our oldest daughter, has to be at church at like 6 or 5. As soon as you drop her off, go across the street to the meetup. There's a meetup. You have to go. Just go meet people. It's going to be really cool. And Carlos is very
I can be introverted.
Introvert, so.
I just try not to, I don't know. I get too excited. I don't know. I think I get too excited, and when I get excited, I ramble, or I trip my own son.
So he was really scared. He's like, I don't want to go by myself. I don't know. Go. And I was like, it's gonna be awesome, just go. So he kept going, and that's where he makes a connection with Jason and all these other investors, but
one pivot,
but he was able to meet Kyle Stanley. So through that connection on the very first meetup, and I think it was probably Kyle's first.
I know, he was barely starting his Airbnb business.
So he was getting ready to gear up. He was getting ready to gear up his YouTube channel. He was doing all this work. And from that meetup, we get a call from him, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 weeks later, and Carlos said, hey, I'm getting calls from the investors and I'm making connections. And it completely changed everything, right? So we started doing work for him, and
he gave me a lot of exposure through his media. And I think one of the things that we have realized, that social media plays a role, but I think we were listening, we were just hearers of it until we started putting it in practice. One of the guys you mentioned a lot is Gary Vee. We were listening to Gary Vee at the time, and we're like, we just got to do that. And so
Gary Vee brings a whole conversation that normal people don't have. If you're not, so we're in between, because we're 80s kids, so we're not too old, but we're not too young, but we're kind of, we know social media, computers, technology, but we're also parents, and so our kids not cool anymore, but we think we're cool. So it was just that perfect conversion. We were able to work with him for a couple of years, but then I think we've connected with him on a deeper level than just business.
Yes.
And so we got our first deal. So I had been telling Carlos all the time, tell everybody.
Yeah,
tell everybody.
she was telling me, and I tell everybody, I just anybody you go, homeowners, any repairs. So we had set up online Google business. So we were getting leads through there. And so we were getting our leads there. One work order changed our life.
After Corona started.
Yeah, during Corona. So, you know, nobody's working, but yet I'm getting calls through the online that we set up in 2019. So, and when 2020, I thought, Martha, we invested all this and we're not going to do anything. And all of a sudden it snowballed on us.
Yeah.
Calls after calls. And one call.
It was raining, it was cold, and everybody's eating outside.
Mhm.
And we were going to lunch, and we drove up to the place and it's full and people are eating outside in the cold. And then we're like, we're not going to do that.
Mhm.
But we got a call for an outlet. And I told him, hey, you want to go change an outlet? Let's go ahead, you know.
Yeah, and so we did. Well, that gentleman is getting his house ready. I realized that he's getting his house ready to put it in the market. I changed outlet. I started talking to him, and I'm a handyman. I'm not an investor. I walk in there as a handyman. I'm doing a service for him. And as the conversation continued, he asked me, Carlos, can you do this? Yes. Can you do that? Yes. Oh, okay. So we agreed to come back to do the painting and the flooring for him. So I come back to do that, the flooring and the painting. And Martha, throughout the week, and just telling me, Carlos, talk to him, ask him.
I felt like he's gonna list it.
Mhm.
He's getting a list. It looked like it was empty. What's going on? Just ask questions.
Yeah. And sure enough, I asked him, hey, so what do you plan to do? Do you have an agent already who's going to represent you? Well, I was thinking so-and-so who helped me bought this other property. So we're already invested in, you know, we build a relationship with them. He's seeing us pushing the job forward. And then one day I'd say, you know what? I'm interested in buying it. I'll buy it from you. Nice. I had no idea what I was saying, Mike. I was like, oh my God, I just put myself in, you know. And then
it was so scary.
But he was scared too. He was scared. Well, how do you expect to buy it, Carlos? And I go, I'll buy it cash and I'll get it to you in 2 weeks. And I'm like, he goes, I go, make me an offer, Carlos. What's the worst I can say? No. I go, yeah, you're right. There's nothing else I can do. Here's an offer. And so I tell Martha that morning, send him an offer. She emails him an offer. We come back to the weekend. We're almost done with the job. And he turns down our offer. Now, during that night, I had asked Jason Pritchard, because I messaged him, hey, bro, I got a deal. I think it's going to work out. What do you think? And he's advising me in the background. You know, and then I go back, he turns me down, bro. I was like, he turns me down, and I'm continue working, and we're finishing up.
I tried to be conservative with the numbers because that's when everything started.
I remember.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's a good amount or if it's too high. What if you know, so I try to be conservative, and you know, it was too low.
So when I come back the second time to pick up our final check, I go, you know, honestly, let's be honest. And it was just two guys talking in the dining room. And I go, you know, I felt in my heart to offer you this much. And he turned around and looked at me, you know, Carlos, that was my request was that much. And he gave me a number. We agreed on the number. At that time, the number was 190. And at 190, I looked at him and I go, let's shake hands. That night we drove
to his new house.
And we signed up the paperwork, and that was officially our first property we locked up. So now the first step is done. We already got the property, and we have a contract. We opened escrow. How much?
We opened escrow at $100.
Yeah.
It was like it just seemed like something. The first step seemed kind of crazy, right? Yeah. Can we really do it? I don't know. And then you're also thinking 190. Where am I going to pull that money from?
Yeah,
I can't. But then, you know, you hear all the guys, the money part is easy. The money part is easy. And now we're just acting on that.
You're like, all right, guys, let's see.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, you guys said the money was easy.
I know, right? I think we got other investors asking us, hey, just wholesale it to us. You'll make a quick buck. And so
that was the other option. Mm-hmm. But at that point, we realized we're already in this far. And we've flipped properties for our employers, other investors. Our largest was 27 units, 410 units, 27 buildings. If we can do that, we can do one house on our own. Like,
come on.
come on. There has to be a way.
And
we have to see it through.
he already paid for the painting inside, the flooring. Yeah. And so the other stuff was just
Updates.
Lipstick.
Yeah.
So let's round this story out. So, okay, you open up escrow, earnest money's $100. You've talked about 2 weeks, 190 grand. Do you get private investors? Do you go to one of the local hard or non-QM lenders? Where's the 190 grand come from to close it?
So what ended up happening is we called our guys and we were like, hey guys, we got this deal. Anybody interested in JV? You know, and like, yeah, maybe, I don't know, the market's weird. Let's see what's happening. And we ended up calling Kyle and we're like, hey Kyle, we got this deal. What do you think?
Yep.
And I think that was like Friday. By Sunday, we had already, we partnered with Kyle, and he was, so he walked us through that end of it, which we just, you know, it was completely new to us. And he was able to get us, you know, locked in with a hard money and got the deal done. And
that's awesome.
That was our first deal.
So the money was easy, relatively.
Yeah.
Okay.
What it was honestly, when we invested early in the year with the meetups and
exactly
the networking, all that stuff.
Making those.
Yeah, folks, you got to get off your computer. Stop looking at your phone. Go out and actually meet people. Show the people you're nice. Have conversations.
Correct. And bring value to them. Like, one of the things that I learned was that I leveraged the handyman to these men that were like, hey, bro, if you can paint it, paint it. If you can fix it, fix it. If you can install it, install it. And so that's one of the things that I learned through a different source about bringing value, that people were willing to pay you, hire you, meet you if you bring value to them. You know, and
we had been working for so long already, and there was a time where Kyle, we had a conversation where Kyle was like, I guess you could see in the fear that I'm like, I don't know what, I know we can do it, I just don't know how. And he was like, Martha, you guys got this. You already have built the reputation. I don't know why you don't take the jump. And at that point I was like, okay, I just need a cliff now. Let's go jump somewhere.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was our first.
So let's finish the story. So you get the money, you get the deal, you close it. Sounds like you just put some lipstick on it. Are we talking 2, 3, 4 weeks worth of work, and then you sell it, or is this something you kept?
No, it was about a month's worth of work, and we did sell it.
Okay. We did. Yeah, we did end up selling it, and we walked away with 21 and change.
For you two walked away with, so
yeah, and Kyle did too.
Yeah.
But it was a great learning experience. I think even if we would have, there was jobs we end up paying to do for them, you know. So I'm like, whatever we end up making on this first deal for us, it was just invaluable.
Wow. Well, yeah, it was confidence building for sure, right? And so that was 2020, right? Early 2020.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was
March.
I met the gentleman late December 2019. We closed everything. It started with the rehab in 2020.
Okay.
So yeah, we
21. What year is it?
22. Yeah. So 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously I know the story gets good from there. So where's the flipping business? What have you all been doing the last couple of years? Because what you have, what I call a proof of concept, that you know it works. You just like some is good, more is better, right?
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, we got the second deal through again the networking and also social media. We saw one of our close friends,
partner here at the hub with
Chris Williams.
Yeah.
He posted something, and I go, and it was September because it was our anniversary, and I took her out.
That was a date.
That was a date. Look at the house as a date, you know. Yeah.
Like I said, rowing in the boat together. You guys are just always together. It's awesome.
Yeah. We looked at 2 houses that evening.
Okay.
And Chris's house was like the one we said, you know, it's gonna be noticeable what we do with it. You know,
character was there, but it was so many years of neglect and just a lot of deferred maintenance. And this is what happens, you know, sometimes people they're at the same place, but life happens, and you know, the houses, you could tell the building was neglected for so long.
It had like maybe 15 or 20 bird cages in the back.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
He was
garage
bringing
was
birds.
full. The inside was still full, and it took about 10 of those big
Dumpsters?
Yeah.
Wow. I have 10 loads. Wow. That's a lot of stuff.
Not estimate that much
Yeah.
stuff coming out, but it was a lot.
It's that project has been in a learning curve. I put out a video about that, about how as a handyman doing flips for other people, I realized it was easy. It seemed easy because they did all the thinking, all the planning, all the design, all the stuff, all the quick decisions that you have to sometimes make. And on this one, on my own, I kind of stumbled. I feel like I should have done this quicker. Why did I take so long? Having those deadlines, and this is where I felt like the discipline has to become a priority in my life now.
That's
and
awesome.
and so the third deal, because we're still in that deal. The second one.
Okay.
That one, so we're closing that one out.
I think we're gonna be taking pictures this Thursday. So right now, as we speak, we're doing the last kind of things that we need to do. We got stuck with
the windows.
The windows. That's what
I saw that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
I told you months ago, windows are the problem. Why are you paying attention?
Yes. Yeah. They got me because they could send me one, and then they would send me two, and then
they're on their way.
They're on their way. I'm like, okay.
Oh no, yeah, windows. Next up is cabinets for people. Just get stuff off the shelf now. It's crazy stuff.
I think that's probably part of why we didn't realize it. We had noticed that Home Depot was falling short with some supply, but we didn't quite make the connection that there was going to be bigger items that we were going to be missing, and they were going to affect our timeline.
And
obviously holding costs, right? That's what people need to.
Yes, the holding costs, definitely. And so, we got the third property now. Now the third property came through what we call a pocket listing from the realtors.
Sure.
But this gentleman, I've done work for him for escrow repairs.
Yeah.
3 occasions. And on the third one, I was so excited. I was pumped. We had just done Princeton, we closed, and we were looking for another deal. And I told them in another repair, hey, if you come across a house that needs to be repaired, I buy those. Yeah. And so sure enough, maybe about a month ago, it's been a month already. About a month ago, he called me out of left field and said, hey, Carlos, I have this house. Are you still interested? Are you still buying? But I go, yes. I go look at it. Actually, I didn't even look at it. I just told him yes. And I also told him, wait, I gotta talk to Martha. I gotta, let her know. And because she's my numbers girl.
Of course.
Yeah, she's the number. And so I sent it to her, and she's like, oh, that much for a house? No, that's bad. I'm gonna go, are you sure? Didn't you hear me? It's just 2 houses in one lot. And she didn't hear that. And he calls me again. He goes, Carlos, are you guys really interested? And I'm like, yes, I am. Let me talk to my partner. And I go, Martha, look at
what
this.
The heck? Yeah.
Oh, we're asking, we're gonna put it on the market if we don't act on it. And sure enough, when she realizes it's 2 lots and 2 houses in one lot. Yeah.
Well, when I don't know what happened, because I was like, no, it's too high and it needs repairs, and then later when they sent me the link again, I saw it and I realized there was 2 addresses in the pictures, and there's 2 addresses on the and I was like, why is there 2 addresses? They're like duplex, and I was like, well then yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, let's go.
They're both metered individually, and there's just
I love that.
It just made total sense. It was a really good property.
Yeah. If I had to buy one thing the rest of my life, it would be 2 houses on one lot. If that's all if I could only buy one thing, that would be what I buy.
Yeah. One of the things is we actually beat out people that were over asking.
They offered overpriced. They offered
30K, and we still beat them because we came and we were the lowest one. We beat we just offer the homeowner time to stay to be able to move out.
I'm so glad you bring that up. All of you people out there writing all cash 10-day closes, you freaking people aren't listening to the sellers. Sometimes 10 days is a problem.
Yes. Yes. So, and not only that, somebody had offered her to stay, but she had to pay rent.
Oh,
Yeah. 10 days rent is not.
Yeah. And
you know,
we
it's
told
not a
her,
big
no,
difference.
go ahead and stay, do what you need to do. And as long as you take our offer, we're okay with that. And sure enough, they got
Her reason for selling is, or was that her only source of income was caregiving to her mother-in-law, and her mother-in-law had passed the month before. So she was completely out of income, her and her mother-in-law's, and now she's leasing the back unit, but she's leasing, you know, for what, like $600?
yeah.
Yeah, they're not charging enough. And then, and now she's, you know, that's her only income. But the house needs some repairs, so she can't invest that.
Yep.
She can't do much, and she's looking to move out of state.
Of course. Yeah.
And so that extra 2 weeks really was helpful. And
That's awesome.
you know, even though other people were willing to pay more, it just wasn't what she needed.
I'm so happy for you.
at her need, and we were able to do that for her.
That's awesome. Well, let's wrap this up. So Carlos, you have a YouTube channel, is that right, or is it just a Facebook group?
Right now, I have no YouTube channel yet.
Okay.
Actually,
Where are your videos? I saw your video. Where is that?
We use social media, so mainly we'll post on Instagram.
Okay.
Sometimes it posts into his Facebook, but we're mainly on Instagram. We do have Facebook and TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
Okay. And then what's the Instagram page if people wanted to see what I'm seeing?
It's at cmg.services.
Very cool. And then if somebody needed a handyman in Fresno, which a lot of my followers invest in Fresno, how do you want them to reach out?
They can reach out through the Instagram. We have on our link is a link tree with all of our links. Our website, fresno-handyman.com.
Very cool. And one more time, the Instagram page is?
CMG Services. There's a dot in between CMG.services.
CMG.services. Folks, do yourself a favor, follow it, look at the link tree. If you want somebody to come out and do some work in Handyman, I know lots of you have properties out in Fresno. Give these guys a call, reach out. Thank you very much. You two are awesome. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.